What's going on, guys? It's your boy Parag. Day 17 this bit. I'm not gonna lie, woke up this morning, was not feeling it, but stuck to the plan. Your boy went on a walk, something like for me. I know it's not 45 minutes because the reason was I was stopped because, I'm saying there's like stop signs. Okay, I'm lying. The real truth is because usually when I start walking home, it's like around like 43 minutes. So I'm like I look at the start of an app while I'm walking back home. However, this time I didn't. I just walked straight back home and just went in the house, because usually the route I take, it's like 4 or 5 minutes. But I guess today I was like speed walking it, so my fault. And then for breakfast we had literally the same thing. I'm like downing the amount though. So we had usually 2 scoops of protein. Oatmeal. Now it's 1.25 of protein. Of oats, milk, peanut butter, coffee, 1 scoop of protein powder, and a banana and some water. So light for there. Today the workout is chest day. So if you want to skip over there, because let's be honest, the reading is quite long. Let's skip over there. You know what I'm saying? But let's get on to the reading. And as always, we always do a question of the day. Yesterday was, actually forgot, hold up. Yesterday was, what could you have done better today? Today, the question is, when was the last time you disappointed yourself? I think, last time I disappointed myself, I'm gonna lie, probably like this past Monday. Because I finished work at 8 o'clock. On the Monday, I was planning to do like an hour stream after my work, but as soon as I finished work, bro, I was so tired. Like, I was so done. I'm like, bro, I ain't doing this. And I just like sat on my computer like doing nothing, and I just like wasted time when I could have been making content or just streaming at least. And I think that's like the hard part for me is like, there's been so much times when I just want to be like, bro, let me just chill for one day, but I can't. I gotta keep going, because do you know how much other creators are out there? Like, it's not just me, there's like millions, there's millions, so I'm competing with all of them, and they all want to come up to the top. Oh my god, I'm mad tired. But that's a question for today. On to the book, guys. We're literally almost done this book, guys. We're so close to finishing this book. I can't wait. All right, from where we left off, we're talking about conscious. Anyways, the best way to find perfect composure is not to retain any ideas of things, whatever they may be, to forget all about them and not to leave any trace or shadow of thinking. But if you try to stop your mind or try to go beyond your conscious activity, that will be another burden for you. I have to stop my mind in my practice, but I cannot. My practice is not good. This is the kind of idea that is also the wrong place of wrong practice. Do not try to stop your mind, but leave everything as it is. Then things will not stay in your mind so long. Things will come as they come and go as they go. Then eventually your clear, empty mind will last fairly long. So to have a firm conviction in the original emptiness of your mind is the most important thing in your practice. In Buddhist scriptures, we sometimes use vast analogies in an attempt to describe an empty mind. Sometimes we use an astronomically great number, so great it is beyond counting. This means to give up calculating. If it is so great that you cannot count it, then you will lose interest and eventually give up. This kind of description may also give rise to a kind of interest in the innumerable number, which will help you to stop thinking about your small mind. But it is when you sit in zazen that you will have the most pure mind. Genuine experience of empty state of mind. Actually, emptiness of mind is not even a state of mind, but the original essence of mind which Buddha in the sixth parashya experience. Essence of mind, original face, Buddha's nature, emptiness. All of these words mean the absolute calmness of your mind. You know how to rest physically, you do not know how to rest mentally. Even though you lie in your bed, your mind is still busy. Even if you sleep, your mind is still busy dreaming. That's facts. I ain't gonna lie. Ain't gonna lie, peer pressure. Just a little bit. Bro, okay, sorry, I couldn't flip the page. Your mind is always an intense activity that is no good. That is not so good. We should know how to give up our thinking mind, our busy mind, in order to go beyond thinking faculty. It is necessary to have firm conviction in the emptiness of your mind. Believing firmly in the perfect rest of your mind, we should resume our pure original state. Dojin Zenjin said, "You should establish your practice in your delusion. Even though you think you are in delusion, your pure mind is there. To realize pure mind in your delusion is practice. If you have a pure mind, essentially mind in your delusion, the delusion will vanish. It cannot stay when you say, this is a delusion. It will be very much a shame. It will run away. So you should establish your practice in your delusion. To have delusion is practice. This is to attain enlightenment before you realize it. Even though you do not realize it, you have it. So when you say this is a delusion, that is actual enlightenment itself. If you try to expel the delusion, it will only persist the more, and your mind will become busier and busier trying to cope with it. That is not so good. Just say, oh, this is just a delusion, and do not be bothered by it. When you just observe the delusion, you have your true mind, your calm, peaceful mind. When you start to cope with it, you will be involved in delusion. So whether or not you attain enlightenment, just sit in zazen is enough. When you try to attain enlightenment, then you have a big burden on your mind. Your mind will not be clear enough to see things as they are. If you truly see things as they are, then you will see things as they should be. On the other hand, you should attain enlightenment. That is how things should be. But on the other hand, as long as we are physical beings, in reality, it is pretty hard to attain enlightenment. That is how things actually are in this moment. But if we start to sit, both sides of our nature will be brought up, and we will see things both as they are and as they should be. Because we are not good right now, we want to be better. But when we attain in the transcendental mind, we go beyond things as they are, as they should be. In the emptiness of our original mind, they are one, and there we find our perfect composure. Usually, religion develops itself in the realm of consciousness. Bro, I can't even say the word, I swear to God. Consciousness, seeking to perfect its organization, building beautiful buildings, creating music, evolving a philosophy, and so forth. These are religious activities in the conscious world, but Buddhism emphasizes the world of unconsciousness. The best way to develop Buddhism is to sit in zazen, just to sit with a firm conviction in our true nature. This way is much better than to read books or study the philosophy of Buddhism. Of course, it is necessary to study the philosophy. It will strengthen your conviction. Buddhist philosophy is so universal and logical that it is not just the philosophy of Buddhism, but of life itself. The purpose of Buddhist teaching is to point to life itself existing beyond consciousness in our pure original mind. All Buddhist practice were built up to protect this true teaching, not to propagate Buddhism in some wonderful mystic way. So when we discuss religion, it should be in the most common and universal way. We should not try to propagate our way by wonderful physiological thought. In some ways, Buddhism is rather phenomenal. I don't know what that means, with some feeling of controversy in it. Because the Buddhist must protect his way from mystic or magical interpretations of religion, but philosophical, I can't say that word. Discussion will not be the best way to understand Buddhism. If you want to be a sincere, Buddhist, the best way to do it is sit. We are very fortunate to have a place to sit in this way. I want you to have a firm, wide, imperishable conviction in your zazen of sitting down. Just sit, that is enough. I think one thing I like about that is like, excuse me, is like how they fight off delusion. I feel like when they're talking about delusion, it's like not only is it like just thoughts in your head, but it's also has to do with like overthinking as well, because like when you overthink, like it's not even real. Like I mean I can't talk because I do it too, shit. But overthinking is like when you overthink, it's like you are assuming something's gonna happen. But does anyone know the future? Hell no. So it's like you can't even be saying that for real. So yeah, I guess, yeah, okay. Delusion. Okay, next chapter. Buddha's enlightenment. I'm very glad to be here on the day Buddha attained enlightenment under the Bo tree. When he attained enlightenment under the Bo tree, he said, "It is wonderful to see Buddha nature in everything in each individual." What he meant was that when we practice Zazen, we have Buddha's nature, and each of us is Buddha himself. By practicing, he did not mean just to sit under Bo tree or to sit in the cross-legged posture. It is true that this posture is the basic one or original way for us, but actually what Buddha meant was the mountains, trees, flowers, water, flowing water, and plants, everything as it is the way of Buddha is. It means everything is taking Buddha's activity, each thing in its own way. But the way each thing exists is not to be understood by itself in its own realm of consciousness. What we see or what we hear is just part of a limited idea of what we actually are. But when we just are, each just existing in its own way, we are expressing Buddha himself. In other words, when we practice something such as Zazen, then there is Buddha's way or Buddha's nature. When we ask what Buddha nature is, it vanishes. But when we just practice Zazen, we have a full understanding of it. The only way to understand Buddha nature is just to practice Zazen, just to be there as we are. So what Buddha meant by Buddha nature was to be there as he was, beyond the realm of consciousness. Buddha nature is our original nature. We have it before we practice Zazen and before we acknowledge it in terms of consciousness. So in this sense, whatever we do is Buddha's activity. If you want to understand it, you cannot understand it. When you give up trying to understand it, true understanding is always there. Usually after Zazen, I give a talk, but the reason people come is not just to listen to my talk, but to practice Zazen. We should never forget this point. The reason I talk is to encourage you to practice Zazen in Buddha's way. So we say that although you have Buddha's nature, if you are under the idea of doing or not doing Zazen, or if you cannot admit that you are Buddha, then you understand neither Buddha's nature or Zazen. But when you practice Zazen in the same way as Buddha, then you understand what our way is. We do not talk so much, but through our activity, we communicate with each other, intentionally or unintentionally. We should always be alert enough to communicate with or without words. If this point is lost, we will lose the most important part of Buddhism. Wherever we go, we should not lose this way of life. This is called being Buddha or being the boss. Wherever you go, you should be the master of your surrounding. This means not to lose your way. So this is called Buddha. Because if you exist in this way, always you are Buddha himself. Without trying to be Buddha, you are, hold up, page turn. You are Buddha. This is how we attain enlightenment. To attain enlightenment is to always be with Buddha. By repeating the same thing over and over again, we will acquire this kind of understanding. But if you lose this point and take pride in your attainment or becoming discouraged because of your idealistic effort, your practice will define you by a thick wall. You should not confine yourself by a self-built wall, so when Zazen time comes, just to get up, to go sit with your teacher and talk to him and listen to him, and then go home again. All of these procedures are our practice. In this way, without any idea of attainment, then you may understand the true meaning of Buddha's first statement. See Buddha nature in various things in every one of us. Epilogue. Wait, is it done? Okay, no. There's still more. Don't worry. I'll keep reading for you guys. Epilogue. Here in America, we cannot define Zen Buddhists the same we do in Japan. American students are not priests and yet not completely laymen. I understand it this way, that you are not priests in an easy manner, but that you are not exactly laymen is more difficult. I think you are a special people and want some special practice. That is not exactly priest practice and not exactly layman's practice. I don't know what a layman is. Laymen? You are on your way to discovering some appropriate way of life. I think that is our Zen community, our group. But we must also know that our undivided original way is what Dojin's practice is. Dojin Zenji said that some may attain enlightenment and say some may not. This is a point I am very much interested in. Although we all have the same fundamental practice which we carry out in the same way, some may attain enlightenment and some may not. It means that even if we have no experience of enlightenment, if we sit in the proper way with the right attitude and understanding of mind, then that is Zazen. The main point is to practice seriously, and the important attitude is to understand and have confidence in big mind. We say big or small mind or Buddha mind or Zen mind, and these words mean something. You know. But something we cannot and should not try to understand in terms of experience. We talk about enlightenment experience, but it is not some experience we will have good terms or of good or bad. Time or space, past or future, it is the experience or consciousness beyond those distinctions or feelings. So we should not ask, what is enlightenment in experience? That kind of question means you do not know what Zen experience is. Enlightenment cannot be asked for the ordinary way of thinking. When you are not involved in this way of thinking, you have some chance of understanding what Zen practice is. The big mind in which we must have confidence is not I can't read, guys, I'm sorry. The loud ass door slam. The big mind in which we must have confidence is not something which you can experience objectively. It is something which is always with you, always on your side. Your eyes are on your side, for you cannot see your eyes, and your eyes cannot see themselves. Eyes only see things outside, objective things. If you reflect on yourself, that is not your true self anymore. You cannot project yourself as some objective thing to think about. The mind which is always on your side is not just your mind. It is universal mind, always the same, not different from the other minds. It is Zen mind. It is big mind. This mind is whatever you see. Your true mind is always with whatever you see. Although you do not know your own mind, it is there. At the very moment you see something, it is there. This is very interesting. Your mind is always with the things you observe. So you see, this mind is the same time everything. This mind is at the same time everything. True mind is watching a mind. You cannot say this is myself, my small mind, or my limited mind, and that is big mind. That is limiting yourself, restricting your true mind, objectifying your mind. Bodhidharma said, in order to see a fish, you must watch the water. To see a fish, you must watch the water. That makes sense, because if the fish is... Makes sense. Actually, when you see water, you see the true fish. Before you see Buddha nature, you watch your mind. When you see the water, there is true nature. True nature is watching water. When you say my zazen is very poor, here you have true nature, but foolishly you do not realize it. You ignore it on purpose. This is the immense importance in the eye, with which you watch your mind. That eye is not the big eye. It is the eye which is unnecessarily active, always swimming, always flying through the vast air with wings. By wings, I mean thought and activity. The vast sky is home, my home. There is no bird or air. When the fish swims, water and fish are this fish. There is nothing but fish. Do you understand? No. Someone's yamming the door at my house. Okay, anyways. You cannot find Buddha nature by fiction. Reality cannot be caught by thinking or feeling mind. Moment after moment, to watch your breathing, to watch your posture, is true nature. There is no secret beyond this point. We Buddhists do not have any idea of material only or mind only or the products of our mind or mind as an attribute of being. What we always talking about is that mind and body, mind and material are always one. But if you listen carefully, it sounds as if we are talking about some attribute of being or some material or spiritual. That will be a version of it, maybe. But actually, we are pointing out mind, which is always on this side, which is true mind. Enlightenment experience is to figure out, to understand, to realize this mind which is always with us and which we cannot see. Do you understand? Bro, I hate when they ask me that because I don't understand. Sorry. If you try to attain enlightenment as if you see a bright star in the sky, it will be beautiful and you may think, this is enlightenment. But that is not enlightenment. That understanding is literally heresy. I don't know what the word even means. Even though you do not know it, in that understanding you have the idea of material only. Dozens, last page. Dozens of your enlightenment experiences are like that. Some material only, some objects of your mind, as if through good practice you found that bright star. That is the idea of self and object. It is not the way to seek for enlightenment. The Zen school is based on our actual nature, on our true mind as expressed and realized in this practice. Zen does not depend on particular teaching, nor does it substitute teaching for practice. We practice Zazen to express our true nature, but not to attain enlightenment. Bodhidharma's Buddhism is to be practiced to be enlightenment. At first, this may be a kind of belief, but later it is something that the students feel or already has. Physical practice and rules are not so easy to understand, maybe especially for Americans. Damn, they're like flaming Americans in this book. Good thing I'm a Canadian, am I right, guys? Anyways, it's kind of ironic because if y'all don't know about me, yes, I am a Canadian. However, I was born in America, Houston, Texas. So, anyways, Americans. Okay, anyway, I'm joking. I love America. All right, you have an idea of freedom which concentrates on physical freedom, on freedom of activity. This idea causes you some mental suffering and loss of freedom. You think you want to limit your thinking. You think some of your thinking is unnecessary or painful or entangling, but you do not think you want to limit your physical activity. For this reason, Hyakojo established his rules and way of Zen life in China. He was interested in expressing and transmitting the true freedom of mind. Zen mind is transmitted in our Zen way of life based on Hyakojo's rules. I think we naturally need some way of life as a group and as Zen students in America. And as Hyakojo established our way of monastic life in China, I think we must establish an American way of Zen life. I'm not saying this jokingly. I'm pretty serious. But I do not want to be too serious. If we become too serious, we will lose our way. If we are playing games, we will lose our way. Little by little, with patience and endurance, we must find the way for ourselves, find out how to live with ourselves and with each other. So that was the last page for today. That part, he's talking about like he's talking about we gotta find a better teaching method for Americans. What? Nah, but overall, I'm like there's some parts in the book that I get, other parts I don't. So I'm glad that the book is almost done, because I'm not gonna lie, if I'm being 100% honest, there were some days while I'm reading the book, I'm like, man, I'm just yapping. I don't know, I'm not really taking it in. Maybe it's because I'm not practicing Zazen, but that's just how I feel. But hey, that was the reading section for today. I will be buying a book that has to do with emotional feelings and love and all that kind of good stuff, so I can be more intellectually emotional, you know what I'm saying? But hey, it's time for chest day and shoulders. Peace.
Okay, chest day. We're starting off with incline dumbbell press. We ain't doing flat bench press anymore because now I'm focused about my upper and lower chest. I'm not gonna lie. So we will be hitting a decline press, but first Yes, sir. We're doing incline. We always start with my right because my right pec, bro. My right arm is stronger than my left, but my right pec is smaller than my left pec, bro. I don't get it. Anyways, we are doing some decline presses. It felt weird at first. I think this is like 45 or 40 pounds. Not too bad, but yeah, it's not bad. I will definitely be hitting this more often. I ain't gonna lie. And then next, boom, we got some shoulder lateral raises. This is 17.5 pounds. I wish I had like a rope to do it because I'm not gonna lie. I feel like sometimes I like use my trap to like lift up the weight. So there's that. But you know, not too bad. Starting off with the left always, you know, the dealio, Camilio, and then boom, ending off with some shoulder presses. I think this is 35 pounds. I'm like, damn, the faces I make. But hey, that's the workout for today. Oh, and you see. There is a pic after the workout. Not feeling good. Honestly, feeling good. I got up more in the fiber because I'm not gonna lie, bro. I think yesterday I ate too much food. I think like starting from today, day 17 until Japan, I got portion less of my food because like overall I'm trying to lose the fat but keep the muscle. So more protein, obviously more vegetables, but just minimize the portion. Because yesterday I ain't gonna lie, I was going over the video, bro. I ate too much. Anyways, a little snack I had. Boom. Avocado and apple, really good in fiber. And let's head on to the lunch, shall we? Ugh. Okay, and for lunch, you know what I'm saying, something light. Literally, we just had fish, some chickpea, I think that's chickpeas, and a cucumber. I ain't gonna lie, your boy is decreasing the proportions now because I realized how much I've been eating. I've been eating a buttload of food, so little portions. And then for dinner, literally even smaller. Boom. Literally a little bit of rice, one fish, cucumber, and that's it. That's all the food I had today. I might end off with, actually no, I'm not. I was gonna say a protein shake. The thing is, like, I don't really count my calories. So, anyways, hey, that's the food for today. Thank you guys for watching the video. It's been your boy Parag. Thank you guys for watching the video. That was day 17. Tomorrow, day 18, guys. Literally like 4 or 5 more weeks left, and I'm going to Japan. Oh my! I can't wait. I'm gonna be vlogging, streaming, all that good stuff. So be prepared for that. Thank you guys for watching the video. I love you guys.